Hey everybody, it's Victoria Fox from the Avalon Universe Films, and I'm here with someone you might recognize, although maybe the hat will throw you off a little bit. He's incognito. But I am here at the second annual Fan Appreciation Weekend for Neutral Zone Studios, home of the sets from Star Trek Continues, which this lovely gentleman here, Chris Doohan, played the role of Scotty, originated by his father, which...
Oh, okay.
He never told you. I'm so sorry to be the one to break this news to you.
I'm on camera and you're telling me this.
Breaking news right here, the authentic reaction. So what is that like for you to have this be, for the rest of us, it's something we grew up with Star Trek, we loved the show, but for you, this is a family affair. This is a family legacy. So that's something that is very unique. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, I grew up with it just like you did. It started when I was probably 7 to 8 years old. And not 78, 7 or 8.
I was going to say, wow.
I'm really old.
How old are you now?
Really
you
old.
Look amazing.
But what's interesting is though, when my dad first started doing Star Trek, we didn't really watch the episodes. My sibling, we just didn't really care that much about it. We turn it on and my dad would say, I don't want to watch that. He changed the channel.
Because that was just his job, right?
Yeah, it's sort of the same thing. But it's like, well, why didn't he want us to watch it? But it was interesting. It was, people would, like at school, people would say when I was a kid, talk about my dad and Scotty and everything. And to me, it was just, my dad could have been a postman. It wouldn't have made any difference at that point.
Right.
But I wouldn't say I wasn't a fan, but I didn't, really get into Star Trek until my probably late teens. And started understanding what Star Trek was about. And I think Rod Roddenberry did the same thing. It was sort of late in his teenage years that he started, to really appreciate Star Trek for what it was. And now I'm just a huge fan, and to be able to, play Scotty, on Star Trek Continues and voice Scotty on Star Trek Online, it's just been a gift from God. And it's, if you would have asked me 10 years ago that I'd be doing this right now, or even being interviewed by you, I would say, no, this isn't going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No.
And yet it did, and here we are.
That's right.
So now, Star Trek Continues, of course, you guys finished your journey. You completed your mission, as it were. And now those sets live on beyond you.
Right.
So what does it mean to you to not only have had this family legacy that you were able to step in, but now you have been part of leaving something behind for other Star Trek fans to now have an opportunity to be part of?
Yeah, well, it means a lot to me. I mean, it's, we did Star Trek Continues for 5 years. And, like several times a year sometimes we come over here and we, it'd be like playing in the sandbox. I'm sure Michelle said the same thing. It was just so much fun for all of us to do. But the fact that we have these sets and that Ray Tessie has these sets and he's sort of the guardian of the sets is great, and he's been able to do it for a couple of years or so. But we wanted to keep on going, with these sets. Without, he can't possibly afford to keep these sets alive the way they are forever. So, it's really important that people help, and I know he set up a Patreon website where people can, donate $5 a month. That's nothing, $5 a month, and if enough people do it, it'll pay the rent over there.
That's the cost of a Starbucks coffee cup that could be on the set.
Exactly. So, if they donate to this, and $5 a month is nothing, if they can afford more, great. But that would ensure that these Star Trek sets will be around for future generations. And
for the next generation?
She had to do it. She had to do it, the next generation.
Told you, dad jokes. Right. I'm going to do them.
It's all right. I'm ready. But that's pretty much it. And it's just really important for the fans who like Star Trek, who like Star Trek Continues, to keep this going and, for eons to come, hopefully.
So I've asked this question of Vic, and I asked Michelle as well, because I know as somebody who just recently got into the fan film game myself, Josh and I spent years wishing and dreaming about playing in the sandbox, and that's a phrase that we've used over and over as well. And it's very easy to sit at home and to watch Star Trek on CBS and go, oh man, I wish I could play in that world. And it's easy to watch Star Trek Continues and go, wow, they did something amazing and beautiful, and I wish I could do something like that, but I just can't. I can't do that. So what would you say to the people who are sitting at home wishing and dreaming of telling their own Star Trek story, but think, oh, there's just no way I could possibly do that? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say there is a way that they can do it, and that goes back to the last question about these sets. They're there for that specific thing. I mean, they can go there. They can literally rent out these sets and do their own fan films. I know the guidelines have changed. They only can be 15 minutes long or whatnot. But still, I mean, the sets are there. You don't have to. These people don't have to do what we did and have to build these sets from scratch. They exist just for that purpose. And so if they can, if they have their just even if it's they just want to go on and do a 3-minute vignette, right? And it wouldn't cost. It's not a lot of money, really. It's just pocket change, really.
Right, because there's a maximum rule, but there's no minimum rule. Exactly. You can tell a 1-minute story if that's your story.
Right. You can just go in there, have a good time. Just be in there with your family and friends and pretend Star Trek. And be on the bridge, be in the engineering room, transport somebody, transport your mother-in-law somewhere.
I was going to say, make it your own family affair. Right. And I was like, oh, then that would be a family drama, perhaps, instead of sending the mother-in-law off to who knows where. We won't. Well, Chris, thank you so much for spending some time with us. It's great to meet you. And they've all said it, and I'll say it again. If you are thinking you would like to do a fan film, there are options out there. Don't be daunted. Boldly go and tell your story too.